And welcome back to The Average White Guys. My name is Alex Haynes, one of the owners of A Squared. We help turn those likes into paying clients through the magic of marketing. Yeah, I get that response too. But you know what's more impressive than that magical finger spirit thing I just did? That's right. Justin Scouten, the LLW. He is actually here in the room with me, and he's actually worth his weight in gold because of how much knowledge he has. Once I tried to sell him to an Arabian, and then I got stopped and then thrown into jail because apparently selling people is wrong. So, but anyway, Justin, welcome. Say hi.
I'm glad you transitioned that one quick. Hey, everybody. This is Justin with LLW Properties and Community Real Estate Services. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, I saw where that story was going and realized that after I came up with the story, it was not great because slavery is bad. In case anyone needs to know, selling people is bad and wrong, as I've been told by a judge.
Judge, huh? All right. So that sounded like we were losing. Our actual subject for tonight is talking about winning.
Oh, I mean, you found out your worth to somebody else. It was a high number.
So why we're talking about winning is in a couple of our podcasts, we have talked about some of the struggles us as entrepreneurs, us as men have gone through, and how we need to admit that and we need to acknowledge it as well, right? Because once you admit that, or acknowledge that we do go through struggles, hopefully you'll be able to get past it quicker. And also, I think knowing that other people go through these struggles helps us realize that we're not the only person or man out there, or women, but ours is focused more on guys when we were talking about the subjects.
The show is called Average White Guys.
Yes. But obviously we know
you don't assume our gender just because we put it in our title.
Obviously we're hoping women listen to this just as much, and we know that women go through so many different types of struggles.
We could use the subscribers.
Yes.
Hit that button.
Talk about annoying. No.
That was on another previous podcast. Go check it out.
So what we wanted to talk about now is looking back at some of the wins.
Yeah.
And personal and business. And sometimes we need to make sure we're reflecting on those. Sometimes it is looking back just 2 hours ago. Sometimes it's looking back 2 weeks ago. And sometimes it's looking back 2 years from now. And just saying, what have I really accomplished? And sometimes we hit those 2 or 3 things in a year span that you just thought maybe set your business back a little bit in one way, but you're not looking at the 5 other things or maybe the amount of money that came in and looking at those type of wins.
And I love that even though we're entrepreneurs, a lot of the conversations we can also be applied to our lives, because what we're talking about is reflecting on where we were and where we are now. And sometimes sometimes you have to look hard to find a win, but growth in our lives, whether you own a business or just in your personal life, is something that should be happening. And we should celebrate that, especially men. Celebrating with other men winning is not a big cultural thing, unless you make it a thing. So I celebrate my friends whenever they have a big win, and we try to make a deal of it, big deal of it. They're like, hey, let's throw a party, let's do something. We're like, well, it's only this. What do you mean it's only that? You did it. You hit that goal. You just hit a huge goal.
I was going to say, should I bring that one up?
You absolutely should. That's a big deal.
So I talk about doing the Spartan races.
Yes.
And I just did one. Yeah. I just did one this last weekend. It's called a Decafit. And it's where you run 5 miles in 10 laps, basically is how they split it up, 500 meters. And in between each one, you end up doing an obstacle. Sometimes it's lunges, sometimes it's doing a row, and just 10 different random obstacles. And I did it 3 years ago. It was my first time, and I did it in like 47 minutes. And this year I accomplished it in 36 minutes.
I want to make sure I understand this. You have grown wiser over the years, right?
And I guess stronger.
And fairly stronger and faster.
Yes.
How's the steroids working out? I'm just curious, right? No, so this is through slow, steady growth, right?
Yes.
That's a big deal. Shaving off time, if you've ever done workouts, is a big deal.
And especially once you start to get to my age, let's go with that. Once you get to a certain age, trying to even improve on your speed and things like that it's a big deal. So I was very happy. That was definitely an accomplishment.
That is a big deal. We should celebrate that. Hit that like button. It's celebrations.
It was one of those going into it. I was hoping to get like 45 minutes, to be honest with you. I'm like, I just wanted to beat my time from 3 years ago. I have to make fun of myself here though. I went and did it last year. And last year you have to do these obstacles in order. Otherwise, you get penalized. Well, I missed one. And I did it in the wrong order, so it penalized me. And I don't know how it actually penalized, but it showed I did it in like an hour and 50 minutes. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to see what I did last year to compare.
Right.
But so I went with what I did 3 years ago, and meeting it I was thrilled.
And that's a big deal. That's huge.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
I have to give a shout out to my sister and brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
They actually came to the event with me.
Okay.
And it was fun because they do this obstacle is the visitors can stand in the whole middle of this thing. Mm-hmm. The obstacles are around them, and then you run the lap around the obstacles.
Okay.
So you kind of keep going to the next one.
Okay.
Well, so I told them, I'm like, your big job here is to go stand to the next event, which is just 10 feet away, maybe sometimes. Sure. So this way I make sure I don't actually miss the event and get penalized this time.
I like it. Smart.
And so they came with me. It was fun. But I think it helped because I was trying to impress them to a point because it was just kind of me. It was my way of pushing myself.
I like it.
And so I had a lot of fun with that. So yeah, that's my big win. And those are the things that you need to look at.
Oh, absolutely.
Because my training up to it absolutely sucked this last 2 months. I got a couple little small injuries, just some things it was just stressful work month. And so I felt like I was not training the way I wanted to train. So I think that's where me meeting that goal was exciting.
Yeah, totally understand. You know, we've had some conversations about business and growth and my frustrations and not being happy and what my insane goals are and never really getting them. And so we were talking before the episode about like, it's funny from one aspect, even when I fail, I'm still winning. Right. So one of the things we were talking about is I've been trying to really grow our business. We have employees now, which is huge. I want to pay them more. I want to live a great life with my friends, doing what I love. And I want my employees to have great lives and to be self-sufficient with whatever we can afford to pay them. Because legally we have to pay them. No, I love the fact that we have amazing staff members, and they're worth everything I pay them and more, really there. And I've had really big goals, and you and I have talked about it offline, and you even told me like, this is insane. No one does these types of goals. I'm like, well, I'm going to do it. And I did it. I did my first big goal. I 6x'd my business in like 3 months or 4 months. And then I wanted to immediately double that because I wasn't happy that I only did 6x.
But you probably were not looking at it as a 6x at the time because you're seeing everything else that you're having to do, maybe a little bit more work, struggling. As much as your employees are doing great, like you said, there's still the trials and tribulations of getting them to learn your stuff and how you wanted to do it. So you don't maybe look at that as the growth.
No, I there's been a lot of like in the middle of the forest, you're missing the trees type thing. Can't see the forest through the trees. I don't know what the saying is. I'm totally saying it wrong. And so last couple months we've been growing, and I was talking to our bookkeeper complaining how we're not hitting my numbers because I'm trying to get us to a better place so people can get raises. And I'm like, man, you're just not getting there. She's like, have you looked at the last 3 months? I was like, yeah, I'm not hitting this number. She goes, no. What did you make 3 months ago? Well, this much money. She writes it down. Okay. Yes, I agree. This is how much you make. What do you make the next month? I was like, she wrote it down. It's like, oh yeah, I guess there's a little bit of growth. She goes, not a little bit. I work with 30 other businesses. Most businesses would be ecstatic to see that much growth in a month. What are you going to make this next month? I was like, well, we're on track to do this. She goes, okay, what about next month? I was like, well, this. She goes, all right, let's look at the last quarter. You went from here to here and you're off by like $500 from your big goal and you're complaining about it. She goes, you almost doubled like you wanted to. You're complaining about $500 and you're in this negative space because you're missing it by $500. And I was like, well, yeah, because I didn't hit the goal. She's like, what is wrong with you?
And can I make fun of you for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
So ladies and gentlemen, this is why as entrepreneurs, we actually need to look at our profit and loss.
Yes, we do. And I obviously don't because I'm busy and I don't want to cry.
But that is the life of an entrepreneur as well. You're like, profit and loss. I'm like, do I have extra cash in my account this week?
You mean my loss and loss statement, right?
Yes. You're like, do I have enough to actually pay myself to pay for groceries this week? Yes. So that's our profit and loss. Sometimes I get it, but
no, yeah.
On the other hand, once you get a bookkeeper, look at your profit and loss.
Oh my goodness. And she's been amazing. I'm going to give a shout out to Mary Clark. She actually owns Adapt Bookkeeping. She does our books. She's done an amazing job taking care of us, really getting us to like track things much better. Now, my business partner did an amazing job. The problem, of course, was me not doing any of that. And she's really come alongside and, smacked me upside the head in her own way, in a good way, to make sure I'm doing the things to make his life easier and her life easier. And because of that, we have things like.
But your partner's not an accountant, is he?
No, he is not. So he was very happy to have her come on board. She's like, "Oh, this is so much easier now. Yeah. I got a piece of paper telling me what these numbers are." So it's been really great. So it's also great, like you said, to really look and understand: are you winning? And yes, we're winning. We're growing. Does it feel like that? No. But when you objectively step back and actually look at the numbers, we are, and we should celebrate that.
Well, one of my bigger wins, I know we've briefly talked about this in a couple episodes, but I'm actually going to sleep around 10, 11 o'clock at night.
I hate you so much. I'm just kidding.
Right? That is a huge win for me because, I was probably working till 12, 1 o'clock for almost like before this last year, 2 or 3 years in a row. Getting to the office at 7:30, I'd work until about 6, go home and get a workout in, eat half-hour dinner with my wife, and come back and work for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, I'm there now. I don't like it. I'm trying to stop it.
But those are the wins that we don't think about sometimes, that you need to look back and just reflect on it. Sometimes if you're a contractor, are you the one actually out there swinging a hammer now and still making the same amount of money?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
If you're not doing that now, and now you're not killing your body and you're paying somebody else to kill their body, those are wins that you need to look at.
A year ago, we had 0 employees. Now we have 2 full-time employees, with my business partner and I looking to become employees of our own business, so going to 4 employees. That's an insane amount of growth, right? And it's not like they have worry about missing a paycheck. We are great. Like, I'm very, very thankful to all the work we get, all our people who trust us to do the marketing, but also I love the fact that we have team members doing this. And like you said, I can't think of the last time I had to sit down and edit a video. I have an amazing video editor.
Yeah.
I don't have to necessarily text our clients to set up a meeting. We have someone in an office do that now. I have an admin who takes care of all the work I should have been doing for all these years. And she's actually putting it in systems for us so we can track it. So I don't actually have to keep it in my head, because God knows if it's in my head, it's lost. So it's now on paper. We actually can track it. So amazing things are happening because of that.
So I talked about how you should have a profit and loss, and that's one way of tracking it, right? But are you, you obviously don't sound like a tracker of like you do check sheets and things like that.
We do now.
You do now? Okay.
Yeah, we do now. It's something I always wanted to do. The problem is I just never had the time to do it, because I literally juggled 15 clients in my head. And I just go work, go until I got burnt out, and then hope to God I didn't drop any balls, go to sleep, wake up with a panic attack because I suddenly think, did I forget? And then no, I didn't. But still, that used to be my life. Now I literally go to our project management tool that we built in-house.
Nice.
It's because we could.
Yeah.
And we're tracking 170 things. Does that sound right? Yeah, getting a nod from my producer. We have like 170 tasks in any given day or week we're working on between the 4 of us for all our different clients. Anywhere this month and next month due, with ongoing projects, every task, internal, external, everything's now being tracked.
And let me double check. You're a fan of AI, right?
Yeah,
that was sarcasm.
Yeah, yeah. Never heard of it.
Yes,
what's this?
Right?
Is it called I?
The reason I bring that up is that's, I think, how you're tracking a lot of this stuff. Am I right?
Oh yeah. And that's how it was before, but it wasn't. It was 100% built around me and my brain, and that wasn't useful to anybody outside in the real world. So with some tweaks and having some input from team members, that's been a big win. Like configuring. That's not a word, but reconfiguring.
I've never heard that, but okay.
I didn't
know if that was an IT thing or something. Okay, or technology.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm going to say it's an IT thing.
It.
No one's going to look that up. I'm curious to how that's going to come across.
That's where I was going to. Yes.
What did you say? That's going to be asterisks. We reconfigured the AI model I used for myself to actually communicate to other people's personalities like blueprints. And so it actually cleaned it up. And then it made some suggestions. And then we built a tracking system. And then we started tracking everything. And then there were rules. It's funny when you're the boss and you get told what you have to do by your employees, because that's usually what happens, because you have to feed them information to get stuff done. So I have to put stuff into the system to get it done. If it's not in the system, it doesn't get done.
And I brought up AI as well because it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter where you are wanting to improve or to look at how you are improving.
Yeah.
Because AI can track all of that. I mean, it will come up with lists, and you can even say, hey, every Friday I want to do a check-in to see if I've been walking a week, every day this week. Have I been eating my meal plans? So use AI to help track your wins is where I was going with this.
Oh, I'd love that. You probably should start doing that too.
Because you can just talk to it.
Yeah, you can definitely talk to it, use it as a therapist. May or may not have done that before.
It is not your friend.
It's not your, well,
no.
Well, I say please and thank you.
I do too.
When the robot overlords rule us all.
Okay, that's a different subject of us all worrying about, yes. Please and thank yous to them. That's different than saying they're your friend.
Yeah. No, I definitely think you should be using AI, whether for your business, for an individual, 100%. This is a great way, like you said, to track your wins, because it's going to be honest. If you say, hey, brutally honest with me, what have I won? What have I lost? Here's everything. Let me just talk to it. It's going to organize and tell you where your little gains are, and little gains over time add up to big gains. Right. And also, let's be honest, you and we also track our losses, even though we're talking about wins, because sometimes those losses aren't losses. They're training tools and training blocks to get to bigger wins, or they're momentary loss that sets us up for a big one later.
I gave that hesitation because I 100% agree with you, but it does not feel like it at the time.
No, it does not.
Yes.
It sucks.
Yes.
And, this is going to sound crazy. AI has pushed me to charge more for services when I feel like I'm an imposter in something we're doing, or I think I should do a discount for some reason. And it gently reminds me that it's not about me and my feelings, but about the team and our hours and the costs we pay our employees, and making sure we're not at a loss on anything, and tracking taxes, and like being honest about what we need to charge for things, because let's face it, people cost money. And so, that's especially for an entrepreneur, is like weighing what we should charge and being responsible for not charging too much. We don't want to price gouge, but we need to have something that covers costs and makes a profit. And that's a balancing act. And it's really easy to go the wrong way, especially if you're a nurturer. We've talked about this before. We want to give away the farm. And it's hard sometimes to get that price justified. And so I always get shocked when it comes back with a big number, and I'm like, no, we can't do that. And I'll argue with AI about it and go, this is my rate card. Use this, and like, oh, okay, based on this, and I'll then come back. Just a reminder, you're way under industry standards, so you should consider increasing it by 200% and still be cheaper than everybody else.
So how are you using that more? Like, if somebody's wanting to track their wins, how would you recommend that they do that a little bit better?
So I think the first step, and I'm glad you asked this, is redefining what a win is.
Okay.
And this is something I've had to learn. In my mind, I'm an action type. And so if I don't hit the exact goal I set, I have failed. That's not fair. No. This is the Ricky Bobby. If you're not first, you're last, right? Well, I've had that issue where if I wasn't first, or if I didn't hit it exactly right, I failed. I didn't consider that I got really close, and that still was a win. Like there's give and take in what a win is. So I think first, really taking a step back and go, what is a win? Was there improvement? Therefore, that is a win. Even if it's 1%. If you do a 1% increase 100 times, that's 100% increase. Who cares if it took you 100 times to get 100% better?
Read the book Atomic Habits, talks exactly about that.
Yeah, and I knew you were going to bring that in. I set you up for it. I love it. And some of us, we're all about the Grand Slam. We're the Babe Ruths. That's the only baseball reference I know.
Yeah.
Don't ever ask for another one. But we all want that Grand Slam out the park. Do you
actually know what a Grand Slam is?
That's when all the bases are loaded. You hit the park. You hit the baseball out of the park, and you get 4 runs.
All right.
And everyone gets in, and you get 4.
Congratulations.
That's a Grand Slam, right? It's
no
also a
idea.
delicious breakfast at Denny's.
Do they even have that anymore?
I do not know.
Okay.
I'm assuming yes. They have a Grand Slam sandwich. That's actually pretty good. So I think first is defining what a win is, and AI can actually help you with that if you struggle. 2, be honest. Be honest about what really happened. We like to lie to ourselves. And it happens both ways. We'll either make it much worse than we think it is, or we'll make it much better than we think it is, but rarely we actually tell it as it is.
Yeah, I tend to go on the overdoing the loss, I think is where I like to go with that. I always, even though there could have been 5 positive out of it, I will probably find the 10 negatives out of it. And so I think that's why I wanted to bring the subject up today as well, because you can't just keep looking at those.
Funnily, depending what it is, my business, way negative, I'm never doing enough. Workouts, I did a workout. I deserve a cake, a whole cake, the whole cake.
Yeah.
The whole giant cake. Sheet cake. 2 sheet cakes. I walked for 5 minutes. I played with my cat. That burned some calories.
Well, you have stairs you have to go up to.
I guess stairs.
You have to do that at least 5 times.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think depending what it is, we will have both those things in our life. So I think understanding that we will always be one or the other, and understanding that the truth is somewhere in the middle, I think that's really important for us to know. Was that second or third? I've lost track.
I think it was the second.
That was the second. So third thing, and this is something I have to do. Not everyone does this, but I write it down. If you don't write it down, you can't reflect on it.
Okay, so you have to define writing down, because you don't actually write, do you?
Well, I use a computer.
Because you made fun of me for saying that I use notepads.
Well, I used to. I actually used to carry a little black book with me, like this little book, like this big. If you're for those listening to the podcast, what was it? A 4x4, like the little notebooks, like the little line books I used to carry with me until I had a phone, and then everything went into a notepad on the phone, dictation, voice memos. I now use things like databases and Airtables and like.
That's why I had to make fun of you, but
AI,
yes,
AI that runs and updates all these systems I have now. But you should put it somewhere to track it, right?
Yep.
And then last, don't expect immediate wins.
Yes, that is the biggest one.
Because I do. And that is a setup for failure, which I purposely do to motivate me for my next thing. So, but if you're anything,
but if
like
you're doing it in the
person,
right way, and you know how to do it, or you know your personality, you can work with that.
Yeah. But really, you shouldn't expect that, hey, this is like we talked about this in another episode, the New Year's Eve, people make these grand resolutions, and 3 days later they quit and they say, oh, I failed. And, I said, well, you didn't fail. Just start it up again. Yeah. You haven't failed until you give it up. Right. So I think, like you said, it could take 3 months to see a win, but it's a win. So, yeah.
Well, if you look at it too, how long have you been in business? 10, 15 years?
Yeah, it's been, 2010, we're in 16 years.
So
yeah.
In this last 2 years is where you finally hit a good stride. So again, if you look at the wins,
I know that's
that was 12 years of trying to build it up and learning and knowing the technology.
If you met me today and understand the things we're doing today and where we're going, you would be like, oh my goodness, you have all the success and you're about to have a lot more. And I'm very proud of that. And just because I have an amazing team and I'm an amazing business partner and we've worked really hard. What most people don't see is the 14 years of toil, the hardships, the doing over and over and over, and the fighting and the non-paychecks and the people who stiffed us and hard lessons we had along the way, the forceful lessons I had to learn to change myself to be better, the hard lessons we had to learn about people, the even harder lessons we had to learn about ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest one. Sometimes it's hard for us as entrepreneurs or any human being is trying to reflect on on those types of, am I making the mistake and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. But, you know, the cool thing is, and I want to wrap this up, 16 years in business, we have making more and more and more. And that's not, I mean, the end goal of the business is to make money. The cool thing is I have employees and I get to help pay for their bills, or I get to pay for their bills and see them live a life working at a company hopefully they like to work at. I get to do what I love every day, whether I actually love it or not that day. I get to do it. Like, I chose this life and I work with amazing clients. And 16 years ago, you know, I had a dream of having employees with no idea how to do it. Now I'm doing it on purpose and looking to hire even more and pay well. And how do I do that? And my goal is to pay people more. Like, that's a weird thing to say out loud, where a company was like, no, I want to pay my employees more because they deserve it. Like, that's the business I want to build for us. And that's a huge win to know that I can do that. Like, that is a huge, awesome thing. I am so happy about that. You've done amazing stuff in your business and in health and wellness. And now I'm on the health journey with you. And one day we'll talk about the awful, awful thing you're dragging me to, and my win of surviving.
So here's when I want to talk about a win, is getting people to hit that like button. And I'm turning this around and making a joke out of that because that normally is how we end this. But the reason I say that is this podcast is a big win for me. If you remember, we like trashed our first 10 podcasts because I was, you're saying 15.
No, I'm saying they might exist somewhere.
Oh, great.
We trashed them, I swear. If we get enough likes and we get enough money, they may be leaked out. We'll start our OnlyFans account for the worst video.
So it's going to be on a roast one day or something. Do you remember this date? Yes. Okay. So I say that though because this has been a huge win. I've hopefully people are liking this and they're enjoying it, and so that is huge for me. And getting the feedback on it and just trying to give.
And we've actually. Weird thing. We do this week in and week out, and we then walk away. We've been blessed, lucky, whatever you call it. People have actually said, hey, I listened to your podcast. And it affected my day in a positive way. Thank you. I remember I got that phone call. I was blown away. I was like, did you call the wrong person?
Yeah.
Not us.
Yeah.
What podcast are you listening to? No, I listened to yours. Are you sure? Which one?
Yeah. So it is fun. And so I just want to say thank you to our audience who is listening to us, who is hitting the like button, because it just makes us want to come back and do this some more. And it's helping me grow. I know for sure. Hopefully it's helping you grow as well. Absolutely. And I'm taking that as the wins.
Yeah. A big win for us too. If not only you hit that like button, but you hit that subscribe button, because then you'll see more of us, which, you know, probably a good thing or not, who knows? And then of course, if you share that with a frenemy, an enemy, distant cousin, your cat, we don't care. Make sure your cat has a oh yeah, your ex would be great. Rub it in their face of how good you're doing because you're listening to these guys talking about your life. Do it. Yeah, hit that share button, like button, subscribe button to really help us out. And of course, join us next time because we are
the Average White Guys.